Hello, children. This is not for the children, or the lieutenants, or the economists, or the Cappy Cappites. This is for those of you who are journalists, or journalism majors, or people on the left who think an AR-15 is an assault rifle. Okay? I know you all pride yourselves on how much less ignorant that you are than the right, but you're pretty freaking ignorant because it's starting to become a pet peeve for those of us who actually do know something about guns when you call an AR-15 an assault rifle, all right? This is an AR-15. Okay, for those of you who are safety freaks and you're not good shots and you, is it unloaded? Oh, is you handling it correct? Will you please, people, just shut up. It's unloaded, so don't send me emails about, well, that's the improper way to handle a gun. Okay, it's unloaded. All right. This is an AR-15. It looks like an assault rifle, but it is not. And the reasons why is the mechanisms within inside. I'm going to dumb it down for the left and journalists, okay? It only looks like a badass weapon, and it is. It can achieve many good things and bad things as well. But the difference is that a fully automatic, well, I got it written up right here. Let me read to you what the definition of an assault rifle is. An assault rifle is a select fire, either fully automatic or burst capable. Burst meaning you pull the trigger down once and it lets out like 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 bullets in one shot. You don't have to pull it every time to fire a bullet. A rifle that uses an intermediate cartridge and a detachable magazine, right here. It is not to be confused with assault weapons, because if I have a stick and I assault somebody with it, it's an assault weapon. Assault rifles are the standard service rifles of most modern armies. Assault rifles are categorized in between light machine guns, which are intended for more sustained automatic fire and light support role, and submachine guns, which fire a pistol cartridge rather than a rifle cartridge. So, you could have like an Uzi would be an example of that. Not a 2-armed weapon. You could fire an Uzi with one. You could fire this with one, but you wouldn't be terribly accurate. Okay? This is what's called a semi-automatic rifle. It's no different than a M1 Garand, where every time you pull the trigger, it fires a round. You cannot, with this gun, you can't hold this trigger down and just go, brrr. It doesn't work that way. Now, the reason you're all freaking out or thinking an AR-15 is an assault rifle is because of the way it looks. But this gun is actually no functionally different than this one. This is a standard 9mm pistol. Okay, I'm gonna show all the gun freaks. See, there's nothing in there. I have to fire this one trigger pull, one bullet. Would you call this an assault rifle? Right? It can be used to assault people, certainly, and that's what that douchebag did over in Connecticut, but he used this. This is a pistol. Okay? Now, what you're concerned about, for those of you on the left who are journalism majors, is really, this is it, if you're capable of intellectual honesty, this looks meaner and badder than what this does. You're going to go after this, because it looks like, it looks worse than this. The problem is, in a close quarters combat situation, and please don't email. I know you gun nuts out there. Don't email me. The same people are going to say, he handled the weapon right. I don't want you emailing me. I'll delete your emails, okay? The problem is a close quarters combat situation, this is more damaging than this. That's my humble opinion. Everyone can say it. Because with this, and you can kind of see it, it doesn't even fit on the screen. It's got such an arc that in order to quickly move like that and take out as many targets as possible in a close quarter, in a room or a hallway, this takes too much of a sweeping action to get it around. This is much more efficient, just like that. The radius is not as, the arc is not as lengthy, I guess. Or the radius, same thing, arc radius if you remember your high school geometry. This is going to be more damaging, in my humble opinion, in a close quarters combat, school shooting, whatever, where you have hostages, than a rifle. Now, let me explain to those of you on the left and journalism majors and journalists why a lot of guys and gals like the AR-15. The AR-15, it's semi-automatic, meaning we don't have to reload the freaking bullets all the time. And if you're going, say, prairie dog hunting out west, prairie dogs are a nuisance, a varmint, because they make holes and then the cattle step in and they break the hooves. It's convenient to have a 30 magazine capacity magazine, 30 round capacity magazine. Also, it's an issue of accuracy at long range. You can extend this, it's called the stock. You can extend it, shorten it, whatever. If you really want to go close quarters combat, you could go short stock and get a little bit more sweeping faster that way. But if you're doing long range shooting, and this is effective out to 500 yards, and if you're a marksman and you just like to have the challenge of shooting at long range, this is good to have, because then you can shoot. I'm not going to go into the geometry of it, but you can line up your shots more, or if you have longer arms, it's a convenience factor. So that's why this is, people like it. I know it looks mean, it looks badass, and it is. It's kind of cool, you know. A lot of girls, when I've taken them out to the fire, they like this. But in terms of what kind of damage it could cause human beings, this is not as bad as a hunting rifle, like a 30-06 that you'd go deer hunting with, because the range of those is much further. If you got to worry about, it's two things: close quarters, like a school hostage situation. The pistol is a bigger threat. If you're worried about that guy in D.C. with him and his son, they go around and sniper people, you have to. That's a bolt action. That's not only one trigger. You have to reload a bullet manually, and that has an effective range of about 1,000 yards, right? Depending on what kind of hunting rifle you have. In other words, this is not your concern. If you really care about the children, that is. If you're just some crusader that hates guns and you couldn't give a crap less about the kids and have no problem using those poor kids that died over in Connecticut to ban something that looks bad because it makes you get nice and warm fuzzies inside because you're a hypocrite, fine. At least admit you're a hypocrite and you don't like it because it looks bad, right? But if you really want to worry about something that threatens your kids, this is it. It's small, it's concealable, anyone can bring it in. It's not as accurate, but it doesn't have to be as accurate because you're only shooting at 20 yards. So, you know, from us people in the gun world to you journalism majors who put .09 millimeter bullets, because I know that sounds like someone correcting your English, but it just, what it belies is how little you actually have studied guns, how little you know about guns, and what true damage they can cause. Because this little thing, which nobody seems interested in banning, I'm not advocating that either, when this is the main assault weapon, you don't ban this. You decide you're going to go after this, when this is not as effective at close quarters combat. Right? So, just, you know, I don't know. I know it's a lot to ask of people on the left, but will you please be intellectually honest? And I have to admit, the left has come a little bit. I think the severity of that shooting was so bad that the left is starting to think a little bit. I know I've heard this, let's ban all guns and all that other crap. But please educate yourself about guns. If you really care about these kids, which you should, stop worrying about how guns look and look at them in terms of functionality. And then also, dare I request, you think about arming the good guys? Because are you ever going to get rid of this? You think this can't be snuck into the United States? You don't think that, hell, cops can't stop 18 times this much wrapped up in terms of cocaine. You think you're going to stop something as small as this from getting into the United States? Or maybe you ought to say, you know what? We need some good guys. We need some guys to arm themselves and stop the bad guys. But in any case, do us people a favor. If you're going to be charity, tis the season. It's Christmas. Do us guys a favor over on the gun world. Please educate yourself as to what is an assault rifle and what is just a very, I know it looks badass, but it's a really convenient, easy to use hunting rifle or sport rifle for marksmanship and things like that. Yeah, and the AR-15 can be used to stop humans. It can be, and a lot of people do get that gun in case the shit hits the fan scenario. And yeah, they're going to want that. But if you want to worry about something, in a shit hits the fan scenario, worry about hunting rifles. Those have longer ranges, larger bullets, which cause more damage. The AR-15 or similar things to that are kind of a medium range defense weapon. So hopefully we all had a good lesson. I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of criticism from all the little gun nuts who have nothing else in their lives but well, that's not really the true purpose of an AR-15. It's like I held a gun and look, finger on the trigger. So, toodles.